Something about an Andre Agassi match on Stadium Court that I guess it follows in the tradition set by Connors and McEnroe on night matches here. It has more of the feel of a major sporting event, a little bit of a championship fight. People sit in the aisles, a lot of flash bulbs, John, and there's just a little extra aura when he plays at night here.
He certainly brings the crowds, and he's probably the most electrifying performer out there. If he could only come up with some more results that would really enhance the possible rivalry, perhaps, with him and, say, Pete Sampras, who's on top of the tennis world. We see his current ranking only at 20, already his 9th appearance here. We remember his best result 4 years ago, getting to the finals against Pete Sampras.
Twice since that appearance in the finals in 1990 here, Agassi has lost in the first round. It's been almost a feast or famine championship event here for Agassi. Either he's gone in the first or he goes into the later rounds.
Well, he's had a very interesting history of the U.S. Open. 2 early semifinal results when he was a youngster. Then he got to the finals in 1990. Struggled since then. But that big opportunity, I think, for him this year. It's a wide open area in that draw. A lot of tough players. For example, I saw Wayne Ferreira just give Marcelo Rios a tennis lesson on the grandstand court. That's his next opponent if he gets by Guy Forget. And then after that, he'd probably have to face Michael Chang just to get to the quarterfinals.
Interesting, John, because with Agassi last year, he worked with Pancho Segura here. And Pancho Segura was going to try to make Agassi think on the court and think through points, and the results were abysmal. And supposedly with Brad Gilbert working with Andre this year, they're trying to do the same thing to get Andre to think what didn't work for him last year.
Well, I think he just wants him to be better prepared before he goes on the court. I think the way Andre plays his best is when he reacts. That's why I think his best results are at Wimbledon. Points are so quick, you have to rely on your ability to think on your feet. When he has more time, as we see Brad Gilbert there signing a couple autographs. By the way, he's injured, not playing this year at the U.S. Open with a hip injury. When you play these matches at the U.S. Open, especially against a guy like Guy Forget, who's been struggling with injury the past year and a half, talked a couple weeks ago in New Haven about being discouraged, not being able to go all out on the hard court surface. Says his knees still bother him a little. We see now the ripe old age of 29, now living in Switzerland. This is going to be a tough matchup for Guy Forget.
Ranking a little deceiving because he is coming back. He missed 6 months with actually almost closer to a year with after knee surgery. And in 1991, John spent a brief period of time as the number 4 player in the world.
And that's when he played Andre Agassi in the finals of the Davis Cup, and Andre really dominated him in that particular match. And that's when Guy, I think, was playing his best tennis. If you remember, he eventually beat Pete Sampras in the 4th match, allowing France to be for the first time in about 60 years to win the Davis Cup under Yannick Noah as the captain. So Andre beat him at his best. Guy is certainly not the player he was 3 years ago. We see Andre's won both meetings. The last result, the one I mentioned earlier, I don't really see, unless he serves monstrously, 80, 75% first serves and wins a lot of free points, how he can come through in this match. We can see there his knees strapped. He's complained a little bit that it's bothering him on the hard court surface. I just don't think he can stay with Andre in this best of 5-set match.
Does he try to play serve and volley tonight, John, or does he try to stand back and trade some shots with Agassi?
I think he should try to attack. When I lost to Guy Forget, it was when he made the commitment in his head that he was going to serve and volley, and he's awfully dangerous when he serves and volley. He's got a very big serve. It's a left-handed serve, so it's more awkward. It's going to take Andre a while to get used to it. Very important he gets off to a good start here. He's a good volleyer. He's had some good success in doubles. Once again, he's another player that I think should be serving and volleying at least on the first serve, if not in the second. You won't see much of him serving and volleying in the second serve, I don't believe.
One of our themes this week also has been, players that have success in slams. And of course, Agassi has his Wimbledon championship, a finals appearance at the French finals here. Forget, for a player who's been around a long time, was once ranked number 4 in the world, has never made it ever past the quarterfinals of a slam event.
Guess what? Another player who hasn't really performed in the big ones, up to perhaps his capability. We talked about Richie Rennerberg the first night, how important it would be for him. We talked about Malavia Washington last night. We see Richard Kaufman, the umpire. Saw him last night. Now Guy Forget. Guy Forget has always been known as a tremendously talented player, very classic ground strokes. Well liked once again by the players, very popular, good guy, very fair. This is another chance for him to elevate his status.
Our aerial views coming from the MetLife Blimp. Snoopy One, which is teaming up with the USA Network to bring you these great views of the National Tennis Center. Snoopy One equipped with a state-of-the-art camera that provides the unique perspectives you enjoy all week long. And our blimp captains have had great weather all week long over the National Tennis Center. Well, the crowd will likely take another moment or two before they really get settled down.
I want to quickly mention the match where Guy beat me in Brussels about 3 years ago. He served 80% first serves. So that can be done. And it's pretty good condition. Doesn't appear that the wind's too bothersome at the moment. Biggest crowd of the night session so far to see Andre Agassi play.
Thank you.
They're filing all the way up to the very top of the tennis center stadium court, and Forget, the left-hander, will serve to start the match.
15.
And Ted, that pretty much is in a nutshell what Guy Forget needs to do. Win a lot of free points off that big bombing first serve.
How good must a serve be, John, to bother Agassi, who's probably the best returner in the game right now?
One of the best returners, if not the best, that I've ever seen play, but very few people are capable of turning a serve of that speed consistently. I don't really think anyone is, to be honest. You notice a speed gun at 106 miles per hour for his second serve. Apparently Guy Forget is aware that he needs to put a lot of pace behind his serve. Certainly should. He's been around an awful long time.
You see the flags up on the top of the stadium, and we'll watch and see how much of that is affecting ball toss on the court.
Which I think will affect Andre Agassi's return, believe it or not, more than Guy Forget's ball toss. Not extremely high toss. A guy like Ivan Lendl is going to be bothered a lot more. He throws his toss extremely high.
Well, Forget with a good service game to open the match. Brooke Shields watching out of the Andre Agassi box, sitting in front of Andre's brother Philip. Agassi did show a little sense of humor in the tour stop in New Haven a couple of weeks ago, where players were allowed to choose their musical introductions. Agassi chose Barbra Streisand's "The Way We Were."
Extremely fitting, but he was certainly asking for trouble.
He's mastered that, hasn't he?
He actually likes all of this. Most tennis players run away from it. See Andre Agassi do his hop, skip, and jump here, a la Michael Chang last night. The reason he did this, he wanted to make sure this ball dropped in. He's just about to jump up there.
Agassi holds in his first service game.
This is where Guy Forget also has to be careful. There's a very fine line between going for too much and being aggressive. Look at Andre's previous U.S. Opens. Once he gets past the first round, a lot more difficult to beat.
Last year, Thomas Engqvist sent him home. 91, it was Krickstein winning in the first round.
love 15.
Beautiful Isabelle Forget and Guy's coach, Eric Deblicker. See what a different player is Guy Forget is when he gets that big first serve in.
You know, John, we talk so much about serves, and it's almost always first serves. And I make the analogy to baseball where we often talk about great two-strike hitters, but I never hear anybody talk about who are good second servers in tennis.
A guy like Stefan Edberg, for example, doesn't have a tremendously hard first serve, but a tremendous second serve. Plus, he comes in behind it, which on a fast surface I think is a big advantage. Not the type of point Guy Forget wants to be involved in this match.
15.
Was never known as extremely quick around the circuit. Now with that knee surgery, he's lost a little bit more speed. See Andre here with a chance for his first break of the match. Even Stefan Edberg is getting a case of the Steinbach-itis on the second serve. Less sure of himself.
Did you ever play anybody who you considered their second serve to be a weapon? It really could hurt you?
Awful close that second serve. I would hesitate to call any second serve a weapon.
Okay.
But some players like a Guy Forget, even Ivan Lendl, could keep you at arm's length, not allow you to come in. I'd desperately try to get in on Lendl's second serve.
Forget has saved 2 break points.
A guy like Pete Sampras. It's easy to look, just go down the list of the top guys. Pete Sampras, tremendous second serve. Old-timer John Newcomb used to carry him through a lot of big matches going for his second serve. You have to have the guts to go for it. Can't be afraid to get it too close to the line.
And see, I'm interested that all the names you've mentioned are champions.
He's got a couple of problems there. He's on the defensive #1. He's running a lot more than Andre Agassi is. And #3, Andre Agassi's confidence is going to grow from this.
3rd break point. And the double fault, his 3rd already. Forget, Agassi for break. Stadium court filled tonight. It's the 4th night of play at the U.S. Open. And a marquee night as Andre Agassi serves to Guy Forget.
15 love.
Guy started out like a house on fire that first service game, but seems to have lost his edge at the moment.
Can he hurt Agassi at all? Returning, playing on Agassi's service games?
That's exactly what I'd like to see him do off the second serve. Try to be more aggressive.
15 all.
Otherwise, he's not going to hurt him staying back and hit a top spin return back. He's got to come in, take that ball on the rise. This is a total miss hit, by the way, but it got the desired result. Even when you miss-hit a ball, the odds are higher if you're moving forward.
Earlier this year, Forget's ranking was in the 1,000s, like 4 figures. His pulse is going to be up there right about now.
We're going to have trouble telling from this angle, but that ball appeared to be long from where I am watching this match. Maybe we can get a different angle.
Forget was, had no doubt. He clearly thought it was long.
It's not the type of mistake Andre Agassi wants to make for a number of reasons. The most important being he doesn't want to let Forget think he's going to make those type of mistakes. That's going to only help Forget's confidence if he sees him make some careless errors.
Deuce.
First double by Agassi.
Advantage Forget.
Usually bad things happen when you make those easy errors. Suddenly Andre double faults the next point. Doesn't do anything with that passing shot to give Forget a break point.
Game Forget.
Wow, there's a stunning reversal. 4 straight points for Forget. And he breaks back to even in the set.
And that's one of Andre Agassi's biggest problems, the concentration and focus.
Scores from earlier today, Steffi Graf 55 minutes for her second round win over Sandra Kasich. The match you just saw here, a tremendous battle. Mary Pierce prevailed. Lindsay Davenport easily over Pam Shriver. Sergi Bruguera advancing straight sets.
15
side, same for Todd Martin. Richie Renneberg also advancing to the third round.
First serve.
The viewers heard a big roar. It was Guy Forget hit a big bomb of a first serve, the first point of that game. I don't think Andre Agassi even saw that. I know the viewers did.
30 love.
Mentioned Forget was ranked in the thousands this year. He fell basically off the charts when he was out after his knee surgery. And
not basically, he did fall off the charts.
So he's back to around 100 now and likely a leading candidate to win Comeback Player of the Year honors. Had a good Wimbledon this year, which watching his game is not all that surprising.
Certainly the grass court suit his game. And also suit his knee problem. He's basically had two good results. He got to the quarterfinals at Wimbledon and followed that up with a finals result in Gstaad, which is played the week after Wimbledon on clay courts. But no results whatsoever to speak of on hard courts this year. He lost in the finals to that in that turn, by the way, to Sergi Bugera. Starting to remind me of Chang Washington. Very topsy-turvy affair already.
He seems to serve, does Forget, John, like a classic slugger, home runs or strikeouts. Break point for Agassi. Oh, he hit a home run there.
Also, he decided to serve volley there. It's awfully difficult to return this serve when he hits the first serve in, and that's the way to go. Get yourself closer to net for an easier winning position. The angle is easier the closer you get to the net. I'm not just saying this because I was a serve volleyer.
You ruined it, John. That's what we're all thinking. Well, it's been big serves and big misses. 5 double faults already by Forget in just 3 service games. That's the Agassi return.
Said when he just reacts to the ball and doesn't have to think, look how good he is here. Beautiful angle. Just blocked that backhand back for another break point. Just got overpowered on that serve.
Wow. 123 miles an hour by Forget, the IBM speed gun.
First serve.
John, is a big server ever get tired over a particularly a 5-set match?
Definitely.
Just the serve. I mean, you only have so many serves in your arm.
No question about it. It's like any other part of your body. It's going to give out sooner or later. I saw Olivier Delettre after his match with Michael Steek said he could barely lift his arm. He lost that match in 3 straight sets.
Well, that was a good game for Forget to save. Saved a couple of break points. Spectacular view of Midtown Manhattan with the Empire State Building in the foreground, and we pan back and show you just where in relation to Manhattan we are in the borough of Queens, the National Tennis Center in Flushing Meadows, New York. Don't forget USA Network with the season premiere of Silk Stockings coming up September 12th, right here on USA. Agassi serving at 30 love.
30.
Brooke Shields.
She's become quite a tennis fan this year.
Perry Rogers sitting next to Brooke, who is Andre's best friend and now business partner as well. Both players appear to be a little tentative, a little nervous. You can see just the beginnings of a sweat there on Guy Forget's shirt. It doesn't even appear as if Andre's really broken a sweat. It's fairly cool out there, so it's tough to get going. Even more awkward for Andre Agassi because Guy serves so big, he doesn't really have a chance to get any real rhythm here. Big Guy Forget forehand off the line, which is why I think Forget should continue attacking so that Agassi doesn't get into that rhythm.
You have a radio into his ear.
Guy's aggression here is paying dividends. Not a particularly deep shot, but he appeared to surprise Andre Agassi there.
Advantage Agassi.
Hear Guy yelling at himself there. Can't afford to make those type of mistakes. Neither player can, in my opinion.
Agassi surviving, but boy, did Forget make him earn that game.
When you grow up as a kid playing tennis, and you hit a lob over someone's head, they automatically tell you run to net as quickly as you can. Guy Forget did that previous point, decided to stay back, let Andre Agassi right back in the point. That's one of the earliest things you learn in tennis. Don't know if his knees bother him perhaps a little bit.
Does it seem to you, John, that fewer players are doing that now than ever? Do you notice a change?
It's definitely a change in the way the game is played. Players sometimes choose to stay back on the serve and go for the big first. See Andre just missing that Forget serve. Go for that big forehand. Choosing not to serve and volley and go for a winner off the first or second shot. Ivan Lendl brought that into the game. Now it is absolutely amazing how many players hit the ball harder than he does. Classic case there of not being prepared to hit the volley. Just didn't react quickly enough. Racket preparation a little late, and it cost him.
Is Agassi starting to time his serve a little bit?
I wouldn't say just yet. Still looks a little bit shaky out there.
15-40.
Agassi loves his forehand angle cross court. We'll see this on the next shot. Gives Guy a little bit of a taste of his own medicine. If I were Guy Forget, I wouldn't have drop shot to that side because it opened up the court for Andre Agassi. Make sure you're still in the point in case you don't hit a great drop shot.
Very surprising number there, John, that Agassi has not capitalized on his chances now. Just 1 for 6. Credit to Forget playing the big points well.
So far, he's played the big points well, but the bad news is I think Andre's going to have a lot more chances. You get that many chances earlier, that's not necessarily a good sign.
Third ace.
Unless, of course, he can consistently serve like that. And Andre Agassi could have all the chances for the rest of this evening. Will not break the Forget serve with any regularity.
Advantage Forget.
IBM speed gun in set.
He picked the wrong time to show that. Just feel Andre Agassi's in charge when they get in a rally from the baseline.
But he runs that point, swings him like a pendulum.
You don't teach this shot in the tennis book either. Off your back foot. Not even only on the left foot. Excellent shot there by our cameraman.
Oh. Break point for Agassi.
Thank you. Deuce.
Another big serve by Guy Forget's fourth ace. Just amazed at how well so many players hit off the back foot now. It was unheard of even 10 years ago.
Forget slipped just slightly. Agassi keeps the pressure on.
I'm not sure if Forget would have been able to handle this return anyway. Another excellent reaction by Andre Agassi.
Forget got past that right out of that game. Agassi is up a break in the first.
Agassi leads 4-3.
Back on Stadium Court, Andre Agassi and Guy Forget having a nice battle in this first set. And there have been several service breaks. Agassi now has the edge, serving at 15 love.
There's Andre the Entertainer. Just wanted to impress the crowd there. Freebie. Brad Gilbert, who's the coach of Andre Agassi, talked to me about how they were working on Andre serving harder. I haven't really seen evidence of that in this match. Trying to get more pace, more zip on his serve.
40-50.
That's well placed, not particularly hard at 104 miles per hour. They were hoping to get to the 110, 115 mile an hour range.
I'm not sure our friend Brad will work with Andre's second serve.
Let's hope not, for Andre's sake. Brad will even admit himself he was never known as a huge second server.
Leads 5-3.
There we see Brad with a hat on. We almost can see him.
Agassi up a break, first set. Other seeds today, Wayne Ferreira winning this evening, actually, over Marcelo Rios.
The winner of this match is going to have his hands full against Wayne Ferreira. Tomas Muster winning in 4 sets. Beautiful touch there. Mark Rosset also advancing to the 3rd round for the first time.
Love 15.
I don't know if people could see from this view, but Andre Agassi had a beautiful topspin lob winner. First point of this game. Just in case we had some people with some really good eyesight, I wanted to make sure that I acknowledge that shot.
John, it looks like Forget can get across the court once and then back a second time, but if he has to change a 3rd time, he'd be a little short.
You notice how he seems to be slowing down after a couple shots out of a rally. Just excellent point. And there's an easy put away for Andre Agassi. Cutting that ball off nicely. I think the longer the rallies go, the less chance Guy has of winning them.
The winner.
15-30.
He blasted. He shouldn't have blasted. Andre should have come in a couple shots earlier. Chose to milk the point a little bit and probably came in on the worst shot. You see him laughing at him, so I think he knows exactly what he did there. Came in on the worst shot he had hit in the entire rally.
Forget saw the set floating right over his head there and it dropped long.
Showed some good speed to get to that ball. Still another set point for Andre.
First serve. First serve.
Andre's had just a little trouble closing out the big points. Set.
Well, that's really been his trouble the last couple of years. since his big breakthrough at Wimbledon, winning Wimbledon in 1992, has not won a lot of big matches since. The longer that time period goes, the more tentative and tight you get.
Fifth ace, and Forget, who saved 2 set points. Now, serving for the game.
Really pulled away from that second serve. Try to get himself into the point before he'd actually finish the stroke.
6 double faults.
He did not show a great deal of mobility here. It's a big first serve. Ball was not that close to the line.
Deuce.
Well, that first serve is keeping him in it, isn't it? Just as you predicted earlier, it's the only way he could stay in it.
He's going to have to keep pounding these out consistently.
Advantage Agassi.
Once again, Andre Agassi in control of this point from early on. Andre's got one of the best overheads around, backhand and forehand. Look at Guy here. He's not happy with himself.
Thank you.
I think he's upset because he's playing right into Andre Agassi's hands.
And there, Agassi with a good return to the first serve. Breaks to win the first set.
Welcome back, everybody, to USA's coverage of the 1994 U.S. Open. As you may have just seen, Andre Agassi has taken the first set over Guy Forget 6-3. We'll get you back to that in just a moment. But first, it is time now for our sharpshooter shot of the day. It's been another disappointing tournament for three-time Open champ Ivan Lendl. He was forced to retire in the third set of his match with Bernd Karbacher, but before succumbing to stiffness in his back, he won this ping-pong exchange at the net with our sharpshooter shot of the day. And stay with us. Agassi has taken the first set from Forget. More action when we return.
Driving by the tennis center, he sees the lights on. He figures something must be going on.
Well, listen,
look who's back.
Either I have to listen to you guys at home. I thought I'd come and visit you and chat with you a little bit here right at Flushing Meadows.
Well,
I've enjoyed listening to both of you.
It's nice of you to take some time away from your studies. I know you're getting set for the grandstand action on CBS this weekend.
That's right. We'll be covering the action for CBS, but we've got quite a good match going on tonight between Forget and Agassi.
You don't want me to ask you who your pick is in the tournament.
40, 15.
Well, from the beginning, if Pete Sampras is healthy.
I mean the women's.
Oh, the women's. Oh, excuse me, John. Listen, considering how much you get paid by USA, you should be doing men's and women's tennis. Okay, I just let that be known.
What John has been wanting Forget to do at every point. Be there, be at net, be aggressive.
Well, he's got all the shots. He could mix it up against Andre Agassi, and I think that's The only way, if he's going to beat Agassi, is to come into net a little bit, serve big, take a few chances from the baseline. But if he lets Agassi get into a groove on the baseline, it's going to be a very short night for Forget.
Boys from the hood here, and can you believe it's 15 years ago you guys slugged it out in the memorable final?
Don't rub it in.
Agassi winning the first game, the second set. Back on Stadium Court at the U.S. Open, Venus has joined us, watching Andre Agassi and Guy Forget battle. Agassi winning the first set and holding his serve to start the second.
I didn't know Vitas goes by only one name now. He's grown that much in stature.
Our former colleague who will work for CBS Sports coverage of the U.S. Open both this weekend and next. What I didn't tell you is that I'm not sure John understands yet that before USA cuts his check, he's working mixed doubles.
I personally would sit home and tape that and watch it several times.
Well, Vitas, John and I have also talked about this. Every year you wonder if it's a little bit of a new Agassi. Is it an improved Agassi?
It's definitely an improved Agassi. He looks fitter. He looks quicker to me this year than he did last year. But John pointed the fact that very tough to find out where Andre Agassi's focusing when he comes to a tournament. He can play a bad match. Certainly has all the ingredients. One of the best service returns I've ever seen. Stays right on the baseline. Plays a very exciting brand of tennis. But as far as focus goes, occasionally. And John, with Agassi, he's never been a very good player coming from behind, and those are the matches that cost him some of the majors. He's a great front runner, but does not play well from behind. And for him to become a contender week in and week out, he's got to learn to be able to do that.
And I still think he needs to get fitter as well. I don't think he's as fit as he was early on in his career or as quick.
But definitely quicker than when he was in that weightlifting stage. I mean, he seemed like he was in molasses when he was running around the court. You're right. The first couple years he came on the tour, he was like a road runner out on the court.
And if we talked to Andre about that, he would disagree.
A little quantum leap here, boys. Look at this. Oh, the headband makes you, John.
The heck with a racket. John McEnroe.
Boy, and your dad's got some great slacks on there, too.
Looks like Bud Collins.
That was great digging. Great work in the archives by our USA research department.
Yeah, but one of the reasons I left USA was the only two clips they had on me was the loss to Crixie and the loss to McEnroe, and I just had to go somewhere where they had a match that I won. I know I won one somewhere along the line.
I'm glad they brought that point for one reason, though. I did serve and volley, kept the pressure on, and caused the mistake. As Guy Forget did that last point. Aggression can help, even against as great a player as Vitas Gerulaitis.
Vitas, if you really want to get, we're going to bring the broken racket back. If you really want to relive some old times.
But you're starting to see fewer and fewer players getting into net. And one of the reasons that you're seeing more Western forehands, tougher to approach off the forehand side when they're coming into net. For them to hit a forehand volley, they've got to turn the racket face straight up in the air, and it's just very uncomfortable.
Does racket technology have anything to do with that, or is it simply just style?
Well, not only that, but I just think you just think of all the cheap points that a guy like Agassi would get if he just became a little bit more comfortable at the net. His approach shots from the service line, when he bangs that forehand, he's never getting anything but a shoulder-high forehand or backhand volley.
I think he's fairly comfortable in the net. I think his problem is he's not a big enough server. Doesn't win enough easy points, set himself up easily enough.
It's a tough evening to play because the wind is really swirling. You've got to concentrate a little extra hard. Got to keep the feet moving.
His percentage is very good coming in net. 7 out of 9. Ted, you were talking about the racket technology. Does that make a difference in why people aren't serving volley as much? And I definitely think it does, because it's allowed returners to hit outright winners, where in the past that was virtually impossible. You sometimes see returns now hit back harder than the serve.
And it's not the player's fault. It's taking a little bit of the creativity out of the game because it is a much more 1-2 punch type tennis now. But you've got to play with the equipment that's given to you, and these kids are doing an awfully good job. Now that's a little bit more like old-time tennis. Set up the point, get in really quick, punch it with a McEnroe-esque type volley.
Save a break point.
I've always thought Andre Agassi has one of the best backhand overheads in the game of tennis, and he proved it once again here. Forget skidding on hard course, not an easy thing to do.
And that is one of the toughest shots in the game.
It's always the toughest one for me.
Get a feeling that Andre's trying a little bit harder. I mean, he feels that he's been working a little bit harder. His intensity's up a little bit. But it comes down to his concentration.
Well, there's a break for Guy Forget. And he takes the edge in the second set.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new king of swing. Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Don't mean a thing, all you gotta do is swing. It makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Give it all the rhythm that you got. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Michael Barkan back in the red seats, the upper deck, in an effort to better allow the fans to participate in this year's U.S. Open. There is talking aloud during points in the upper deck. There is actually some cheering allowed. And as you get down to the aisleway here, and we are playing some tennis, you can walk around freely, which is something you could not ordinarily do. So I guess I can just whoop it up. I'll stay here because, you know, it's difficult for me to keep it down. I'll toss it back to the trio in the booth. Guys?
Try your Tarzan yell out there, Mike.
Tarzan? You want a Tarzan yell?
Let's go. If you start to notice fans up that high, your concentration is really off.
15 all.
Or maybe on the other side of the coin, it's really on. If you're noticing every little person all over the stadium, you certainly got some form of concentration.
Well, that's why we had two different types of concentration. You stared at the guy up there, and I was staring down a little bit lower.
You were wrapping your racket.
You're right,
grip.
exactly. Great service motion on Guy Forget. Is that your helicopter?
Well, that's Jimmy Connor's plane. Meanwhile, Andre Agassi has let Guy Forget back into this match. Forget suddenly up 2-1-45 with the service break.
Guy Forget has always had a very stylish-looking game, and France has produced some of those flashy shot makers. Henri Leconte was one of them. Yannick Nogue was a very athletic, acrobatic-type player, and Guy Forget certainly has all the shots.
The one thing that's eluded him is any success in a slam. He's never made it past the round of 16 here or the quarters anywhere else. Wow. A spasm there.
He threw in a couple double faults in that first set. 7th double fault. See, and this is the game that he really has to consolidate. He's got the break. Agassi's opened the door a little bit for him.
Advantage 4-0.
It's a player like Agassi. You don't get that many opportunities, and when you get them, you got to nail them down.
Unfortunately for Andre Agassi, he's getting more opportunities than he used to. Andre was ranked as high as number 3 in the world. Now 20 in the world, unseeded at the U.S. Open.
Now, John, do you feel that's due purely to the lack of concentration at times, or do you see something else in this game? Because I know you coached him for a while.
What I see is his inability to get as fit as he possibly can. Over the years, has not improved his serve. Doesn't win enough free, easy points, and eventually people start picking up on your game. Make adjustments, compete harder.
Did you have him come in the net? Did you get Agassi to where he felt comfortable?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I never really had a real chance to coach him. See, Forget continuing to be more aggressive here in the second set. It's paying nice dividends. Well cut off there. To be honest, I only coached him for 2 weeks in his entire career, and that was Wimbledon '92. So.
Nice job.
Forget with quite a few unforced errors already.
Some would
Don't mean to take any credit.
That would be Coach of the Century honors if you did that.
Here's a shot that lost on the point. Wasn't real aggressive there. He likes to cut that backhand down the line sometimes. Really gave Forget an extra opportunity. This time the backhand overhead letting him down.
It's a big game for Forget. Gets another break. He's got the second set.
40-30.
That's where I think you can see Forget. A little ginger on his knee. He had knee surgery. Not quite ready to go 100% and run a couple of those shots down. Sort of just holding back a bit.
Deuce.
one of the best shots in the game. John used to have that one down. I loved it when he said, "I'm sorry." You know, like he really meant it.
Never understood that.
As if any player means it.
Right, exactly. She's enjoying the tennis. Brooke Shields.
She certainly knows when she's on camera. Guys like us, we'd be picking our nose or something. Sits up straight. Very impressive. Guess that's why she's an actress and we're here in the commentary booth.
Agassi had to work a little bit again. He does hold his serve.
You know why I like the U.S. Open? It's exciting. It's unpredictable. And it's loud. Watch them tear up the hard course on USA.
Richie Renneberg winning today. He'll go to the third round. Also, Patrick Rafter, an impressive young Aussie, wins. Todd Martin in straight sets over Andrei Chesnikov today. An impressive win for Martin. And Bernd Karbacher advancing. Second straight year that Lendl has retired in the middle of a match. The U.S. Open. There's the bottom quarter of the men's draw. Martin and Rosset are the lone seeds remaining. Kind of an open bottom quarter there. Some dangerous floaters.
Patrick Rafter, probably the most dangerous of those floaters in this bottom section of the draw. That'll be a bigger win for Todd Martin if he's able to get by him in his next match.
Well, the only thing that Rafter has not won that many matches this summer. Had a great year last year.
It's the old story. When players start seeing you more frequently.
But he certainly has a good game, especially for these courts. Good serve and volleyer.
Forget up a break, second set.
Big Forget serve there. I don't think it helped Patrick Rafter's confidence losing to Sergi Bruguera at Wimbledon. He's been struggling since then.
You played that guy Eric Deblica a couple of times, didn't you, back in your days?
Way, way back when.
Guy Forget still up a break here in the second set.
Ted Mark Rosset really has a real opportunity. First time he's ever been seated in a Grand Slam event. Will play the conqueror of Ivan Lendl, Bernd Karbacher.
And he's coming off a good week in New Haven. Reached the finals there, lost to Becker. But he never went around here at Flushing Meadows. You think he'd have a pretty good game for these courts too? Big serve, big forehand.
Vetus, do you think, John said last night he really feels the seating here ought to be done with more subjectivity than straight off the computer?
I happen to agree.
30,
You could take into account how people are playing during the summer on these courts.
A guy like Barisitegui, who plays on clay until the day before the event. That's telling everyone he doesn't believe in himself on this surface. Andre went back for this overhead in a pretty awkward way. I don't believe he thought it was going to drop in. And when it did, he wasn't really prepared to hit it. It would have been better served just to get back in the point.
40,
there.
30.
Will march on here in the second set. Still Guy Forget up a break. Here on Stadium Court, Andre Agassi winning the first set from Guy Forget. Forget is up a break as he has taken advantage of a lapse by Agassi here in the second set.
I believe it's much more important that Guy Forget wins this set than it is Andre Agassi.
First serve.
Needs to keep throwing in those big bombs.
And it never really looks like he's throwing that much effort into his serve. It's a very fluid motion. It's great snap. I mean, he put in one in the first at 124 miles an hour, and it looked really smooth.
So keep pointing out the snap of the wrist. A lot of pace from that.
Over the course of a long match, does the receiver time that serve?
Not those big serves. See Jay Schneider, the tournament director here. Must have gotten his wardrobe from my father or Bud Collins.
An Aussie sweater, I believe. So a receiver can't really time the big ones?
I don't think they can time those ones over 115 miles an hour on any sort of consistent basis. Maybe below that.
You definitely become more comfortable as the match goes on. It's like a guy that throws, you know, the big fastball. After a couple of innings, you just start getting used to his motion and his action.
And he'll lose a mile or two or three off that fastball later in the game.
We're not going to be able to tell from that angle.
Gets the break back. And even again, second set.
A loose game there from Guy Forget. Missed two relatively easy volleys. Short ball there. Easy put away.
Got to be clear. Got to be clear.
That was Richard Kaufman in the chair telling Guy Forget why he doesn't overrule.
He had the right shot. He came in with a nice return. Had the high backhand volley, but when you get that, you've got to do something with it because a guy like Agassi is going to run it down and pass you.
Tony Roach was the best I ever saw at that high backhand volley. Beautiful stroke.
He had the big knife. You knew it was going cross court. You could get running started a little bit early, and you still wouldn't get to it. Great shot. Forget can't afford to play those loose shots. Agassi tried to give him an opportunity in this set.
Well, he is an entertainer.
Well, suddenly Agassi strings together two good games. We're on serve in the second. Longest suspension bridge, the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. In the background tomorrow on USA. Tomorrow night, our feature match, Pete Sampras, the defending champ, meeting Czech Daniel Vacek. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on USA. Time permitting, tomorrow night we'll also get a look at The Jensens in men's doubles. They pulled off an upset to win their first round match. Highly entertaining team will be in men's doubles action also tomorrow night here on Stadium Court.
Pistol Pete looked pretty good in his first round match.
Ooh. You know, maybe Agassi, after his first round victory, maybe gave Sampras the greatest compliment of all. He said, right now I feel when I walk on the court, I look across and feel I can beat anybody in the game except when I see Sampras.
He's got a couple different ways he can beat you. He can beat you with the serve and volley, and when that's not working, he can stay back on the baseline. He's not really hurt that way.
And there's a guy that worked hard on his fitness to get himself more physically fit, unlike Andre. Well, Andre's worked on it. I just don't think he's worked hard enough. It's got to work awfully hard.
And also, like the great champions, went over to Europe, being a serve and volley, took his lumps, learned to be a little bit steadier off the ground. John used to go, myself, I prefer to play a serve and volley game, but we went over there, and for a while it took us time to learn to play and win matches on clay, and I think it helped.
Speak for yourself.
You did pretty good. All kidding aside, you played, it wasn't your favorite surface, but you reached the finals of the French, and you did play pretty darn well on clay.
Here on Stadium Court, earlier tonight, Mary Pierce survived a very, very tough three-set battle to win her second round match. And now Andre Agassi battling Guy Forget. Agassi winning the first set 6-3. We're all even here in the second set. We've had a lot of tennis already tonight, and looks like we're going to have a bit more before it's over.
We should point out, just for the record, that the Jensen brothers' opponents are Brian Shelton and Patrick Rafter.
Could be a short stay for the Jensen brothers in New York.
There's no doubt that they will be fired up for that match, however.
Agassi had won 3 straight games until Forget held for 5-all. And Agassi holds at love. 6-5 Agassi in the second. Stadium Court, Guy Forget is trying to get the second set to a tiebreak, but Agassi put one little dent in those plans. And it's quickly love 15. Forget just threw that one ball out of play.
We better bear down here. 2 points from being 2 sets down.
Thank you.
Seems so easy for him to do it. You wonder why he doesn't do it more consistently or more frequently.
Well, now he's in a corner now.
And a weak volley, and
you just can't miss shots like that at 15-30. Just tried to do too much with it. 2 set points here for Andre Agassi.
Gets burned by the tape, and Agassi is up 2 sets to none.
When you get a net cord like Guy did, you have a tendency to overreact. If he'd just been able to keep his cool a little bit longer, I think he would have been able to put that away. We see Andre Agassi, the fist to his corner.
And he caught a break by having the ball hit the tape because it gave him time. That would have passed it right down the line.
It's amazing how he used the words focus and concentration, and Agassi was kind of lapsing there for a while, and suddenly it kicked back in.
But to win a tournament like this, you're going to have to concentrate a lot better than this. I mean, Guy Forget is a good player, but there are going to be a couple tougher guys in the world.
He's a good player that's not all the way back from an injury, and he's also at his best never got past the quarterfinals of Grand Slam. So he's got a lot tougher road ahead, starting with Wayne Ferreira in the next round. I think the advantage Andre Agassi has against Wayne Ferreira is the fact that Wayne is also not a big server. Good all-around player. He's got all the shots, tremendously talented, strong. But I don't think he can overpower Andre.
Hey, V, it's great seeing you.
Enjoyed it.
And we'll look forward to listening to you this weekend on CBS Sports.
John, I had to come by and visit because it was just not as much fun watching you guys from bed.
You'll go back and try it now, I know.
You got it.
Andre Agassi in command here against Guy Forget.
Excuse me. Can I interest you in a change of pace?
Rebel! Express yourself. Change the lens on your rebel. Change. Play on a whole new level. Change. Express a different point of view. Change. Show them how it looks to you. Rebel!
Express yourself.
Express yourself.
EOS lenses and the Rebel X from Canon.
Back at the National Tennis Center in New York City. Remember, a beautiful computer-generated genie can be awesome when you're Gary and Wyatt. The boys are back in a weird new season of Weird Science. Saturday nights at 10 Eastern, 9 Central on USA. Agassi with a blitz there to win the second set. Forget serving at 15 love. With all 15 all.
Guy's wife Isabel running back to her seat. Once again, he has Guy Forget on the run. This is a beautiful approach shot right here. See him hesitate for that split second, hit the shot, and then continue to move forward.
John, let me ask you. Agassi said after his first round match here that he felt he could win against anybody basically other than Sampras in a match. Do you agree with that?
He's got the capabilities. Basically what he was saying, if he played his best and other players played their best, I believe that, yes.
40,
especially in his half of the draw. At the same time, I don't believe he would beat Pete Sampras if Pete played his best. So he's pretty much got it all figured out.
10 aces for Forget.
Game Forget.
And he holds. 1-all here in the
1-all.
I think the match that a lot of tennis fans, I sense it here around the tennis center, are anticipating would be Chang Agassi, round of 16. But if Agassi finishes this off, there's a Wayne Ferreira in the way of that.
Wayne happens to be seated number 12 here, coming off a win in Indianapolis. Seems to have refound his confidence and is competing better.
Michael Chang still has a Jim Grab 30 in his way as a third-round opponent.
Jim Grab coming back from shoulder surgery of his own. We see Andre has a very high first serve percentage. I don't think Jim Grab will be able to stay with Michael Chang tomorrow.
Correction, ball.
Excuse me, Saturday. The only thing worse than the overalls that Richard Kaufman continues to keep his hand out, showing that it was good.
First serve.
It must have been a minute that he had his hand like that. Don't want to rub it in. You certainly see that shot a lot in men's tennis today. That inside-out forehand. Once again, moving around that backhand, setting himself up for that nice inside-out winner.
Forget hit a good line drive there, but Agassi wins the game. Snoopy is an avid tennis fan, and you're looking at the action here on the Tennis Center grounds from the MetLife blimp Snoopy 1, which travels over 60,000 miles a year to cover sporting events and television specials across the country. Look to the skies for Snoopy and the MetLife blimp. Third set, Guy Forget serving at 15 low.
This is a shot that Andre sometimes has trouble with. That ball was up too high, allowing Forget to really go after that volley. Followed up with that easy put away. He's got to move that racket a little bit more forward. Ted, when Andre Agassi is playing his best tennis, reminds me quite a bit of Jimmy Connors. The opponent runs so much more than they do.
See, and again, John, looked like Forget had two chances to come in during that point and did not.
Just surprised with his game plan. So he's had a nice touch around the court. He's showing it once again here. Andre unable to do enough with that. Well, the man who I consider to be the best returner in tennis today. See that early preparation with the racket. As he was running, the racket's already back.
Another trade he shares with Connors. Now, we talked about rivalries last night. If Agassi could reclaim his place in the top 10, be a consistent top 10 player, who's the rivalry that he could form that would help the game? Is it Sampras?
Obviously.
Is it enough of a contrast in styles?
Absolutely. Personality, their styles on the court, the clothes they wear.
Although Pete's getting into the denim now.
Pete had an unusual look at Wimbledon. The baggy look was. You mentioned Andre shared that trade of racket preparation with Jimmy Connors. All tennis players should do that. Once you start running for the ball, the racket should be back early. Don't wait till you get to the ball, because then when you take it back, suddenly you'll be late.
That was so good, Agassi could just give it a wow.
I'm not sure why Guy Forget apologized for that. A knife approach shot off the backhand side, setting up that beautiful drop bomb.
Another thing Connors and Agassi share is the same surgeon. Agassi had his wrist operated on last December, and the surgeon was given to him, recommended by Connors.
Believe it or not, they both had wrist surgery. Both are sure entertainers out there on the tennis court. It should be pointed out that Andre Agassi's got a long way to go, though, before he reaches Jimmy Connors' stature. His lone Grand Slam win, Wimbledon, 92. Jimmy, holder of 8 Grand Slam titles and 109 individual singles titles in his career.
We're on serve in the third. Other singles action today at the National Tennis Center. Men's second round action. Thomas Muster with a 4-set win. He advances. So does Thomas Engqvist, man who knocked Agassi out last year. Mark Goldner advancing with Thomas Carbonell retired in the second set. And the third seed, Sergi Bruguera, another straight set win. He's not lost a set yet. And in that quarter of the draw, the only remaining spot in the third set, or third round, is the winner of this match. And Sergi Bruguera kind of quietly moving up there without dropping a set yet. Can Mark Goldner give him a battle?
Goldner can give him a battle. He's been struggling for a while himself, just starting to regain his form and confidence. But watch out for Bruguera. He's showing something on these hard courts. And he matches up well against guys like Michael Chang and Andre Agassi. Extremely difficult to play from the backcourt. As a matter of fact, there's really no one in that half of the draw, that quarter of the section to get to the semis that can really overpower him. Goldner probably has the best shot at it. Thomas Muster, another clay court player, would be his first seeded player, and either Chang, Ferreira, and Andre Agassi, assuming he wins. I don't mean to leave Jim Grab out. He's a good guy, but it's very unlikely he'll be in that position.
15-40.
Well, now Forget really fighting for survival. A couple of break points for Agassi.
Smart move there by Andre Agassi.
He leads 4-2.
Picks a good time here to be aggressive, already up 15-40. His second serve, he's such a great returner. Knows Forget's not moving that well. Lovely backhand overhead winner.
So now Agassi is up a break in the third and looking how to make this rather quick end to the match.
Big shot there by Guy Forget. One of the problems he's had, he hasn't played a lot of tennis the last couple years. And when you get up against the top players in big events, you're just not used to being in that situation. And he's having trouble playing the big points well. Tonight is a perfect example. Far too far away from the ball there to try to swing like that. Hitting his 20th unforced error off the forehand side. Very awkward looking shot there. Andre Agassi in total command now.
Forget knows it. What makes Agassi a great player, as Vitas, I think, talked about earlier, John, when he's ahead? He's a good front runner, doesn't come back from behind very well.
It's one of these guys that gets more and more confident. He seems so much tougher to play.
Game Agassi.
See another Agassi ace to go 5-2 in the third set.
Andre Agassi closing in on a second round victory over Guy Forget. Forget serving 15 low.
Ted, you were asking me before the break about why Andre Agassi is such a good front runner. I think the main thing is just confidence. He's one of these players that loses and gets it so quickly. Once he gets on a roll, he really starts going for his shots, relaxes a little bit. It's a completely mental thing.
I don't think I've ever seen a more mercurial match from a player than the one he played here with Connors in either 88 or 89. That went 5 sets. First time Agassi ever won a 5-set match. There was some suspicion about how it got to the 5th, but
like he threw the 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, that's some of it. Yeah. I mean, you talk about a guy that was all over the place.
40-50.
Jeff.
He trying to make Andre Agassi at least serve out this match. That winner due to discouragement as much as anything else. Forget obviously down on himself here.
Thank you.
Well, Forget does hold. Agassi will try to end it. Serving at 5-3 in the third.
Well, the crowd's certainly trying to inspire Guy Forget.
I'm trying to tell, are they doing that or are they cheering for Andre?
Well, you know the New York fans, they always want that 5-7. Well, we're not sure this time.
Normally, I think they're cheering for Andre.
I don't know. They love tennis.
Love 15.
Yeah, not many cheers there. Only the second double served by Agassi.
Thank God for that. Hate to see fans cheering on double faults. You notice just as Guy was about to hit that back and he pulled his shoulder back a little bit further to get a little bit extra power, and that's why he mishit it. Once you're in position, don't go back even further. Just throw everything out of sync.
Thank you.
Not an easy shot to hit, Ted. Trying to take that ball on the rise, a high floater.
Thank you.
Better serve, just wait on that a little bit. Played a little bit safer. Now he's down at break point.
After losing the game, Agassi testing his racket tension. Probably testing his own tension level. So Forget, 30 still alive here and quickly to 30 low.
Now Andre knew full well that this match should be over by now. Obviously frustrated in himself. Now, Ted, you see the people wanting to see more tennis?
Yeah, you're right. It really is not not a great trait in a champion to let a guy up off the canvas.
Seconds.
Should point out he's not as good a front runner as he was early on in his career.
And Forget.
12 aces.
5-all.
And it's 5-all. Andre probably had the rackets packed and dinner plans made. Not done yet.
Thank you.
Saw Brad Gilbert there looking a little bit more concerned than he was a few games ago. In fact, a lot more concerned.
You know, it just does not look right to see Brad Gilbert sitting in a coach's box.
30 love.
It's called coaching ugly. Look at the Agassi contingent.
Thank you.
Brad Gilbert certainly knows how to compete.
That's what's funny to me.
Yes,
about
please.
it.
We appreciate your
Just seeing
enthusiasm,
him
but during the
running
don't
around
shout
the
out to
courts.
players. Thank you.
But you know he'd love to be out there. Lost here last year in the round of 16 to Tomas Muster.
Brad Gilbert was entered. He was originally in the draw here and pulled out late with a stomach muscle pull. And there's Agassi back for 6-5 in the third. Guy Forget serving for a tiebreak.
30 love.
Two big first serves, taking an early advantage in this game.
Now, John, will look over at the clock or the speed gun. 122. So he's not losing anything yet.
Still serving big as we look at the Forget corner. And they're happy to still be a part of this match. He looked out of it about 5-10 minutes ago. Like a broken record, but once again, a totally different player when he gets that big first serve in. He's not winning a high percentage of the rallies, that's for sure.
Well, we're going to a tiebreak here in the third set. Agassi slightly over 500 in tiebreaks this year. Too good by Agassi.
A well-played point by both players. Once again, not the type of point I don't believe that Guy Forget wants to get himself into. Almost a half volley there off the baseline for a winner cross court. Tough shot to hit here. Ted, I don't know if you were watching today. Did you notice Bernd Karbach's tiebreak record from '94? 19-3 now. That is the best tiebreak record I've ever seen on the men's professional circuit. That percentage. Not to mention he was down 5-love and 3 service breaks in the second set today.
Agassi.
Another well-played point there by Andre Agassi. He's playing it a little bit safer. It's paying off for him here.
First player to 7 wins the tiebreak. Must win by 2.
2-1 Agassi. Thank you.
Certainly Forget more dangerous when he's aggressive.
And that really has been the play that's worked for him, hasn't it? 2-all. Forget wins both points on Agassi's serve.
That's a tough shot to have to try in any situation, especially 2-all in the tiebreaker. Trying to lob over Guy Forget when they're both at net. Andre not happy with his shot selection or the end result.
Thank you.
He knows better than anyone else this match should be over now.
Straight points for Forget. And the players now change ends. Forget trying to write a remarkable comeback of his own in this set.
Big point here now for Andre Agassi. Really open the door for Guy Forget. Doesn't want to get down 5-2. Got to attribute that one to nerves. Just choked on that forehand. Feet touch slow in preparation. It doesn't take much to miss by a great deal, obviously. Not a good time for that. That's what I like to see, Ted. Andre Agassi going for his serve a little bit more.
One of the few times he's done it, just his 4th ace.
Could content most of this match, including most of this tiebreaker, just to spin his first serve. And that was a big first serve that we haven't seen much of. And there's another one.
Andre Agassi talking to his box there. And he has now won the last 3 points.
Thank you.
Try to keep the butterflies from growing too much inside the stomach. Let out some of that tension by talking to your friends.
Aces for Forget. You know, John, watching this match, you never really have gotten the feeling that Forget was going to win this thing. But my goodness, he has certainly stayed around here and made Agassi work. And now he has a set point.
Certainly didn't think we'd still be here now, based on that 5-2 lead in the third set.
Disbelieving Agassi, and Guy Forget plays on.
Excuse me, can I interest you in a change of pace?
Rebel! Express yourself! Change the lens on your rebel! Change! Play on a whole new level! Change! Express a different point of view! Change! Show them how you do! Rebel!
Express yourself.
Express yourself!
EOS lenses and the Rebel X from Canon.
Well, it was a match that had every appearance of being over. Agassi up 5-2 in the third. Forget, though, was only down 1 break, and he came back to win it in a tiebreak.
But we should still not be watching this match.
Right.
Andre Agassi should have finished this off. Let's see how he reacts to this adversity. Ted, that's just bad shot selection. No reason once again to take that ball early. And certainly if you do more with it than he did, opening the court up for that Forget winner up the line. Andre Agassi, not surprisingly, getting increasingly anxious, starting to talk to more and more people out there. Agassi is best, just reacting. Back to 30 all.
What are you seeing tonight, John? Are you seeing a reacting player in Agassi? More reactive than he was last year here?
More reactive than last year, but less reactive than I saw him in the past. Certainly circumstances are a lot different than they were when he first came on, the first couple years, but nonetheless, not really playing what I consider to be his best style of tennis.
Deuce.
Good move to be aggressive by Forget. Needs to try to hit that approach shot just a touch deeper. Beautiful return there.
Advantage Agassi.
Ted, I wonder how the players are feeling right now. It's awfully cool out here now. I'm feeling a little chilly. I wonder if their muscles are starting to tighten up.
I would think they'll be jumping up off the seats during the changeovers. Agassi went for it on his break point.
I would have loved to get that break the first game of the fourth set, just hitting the top of the tape.
Once you've broken, you know, obviously more than 2 hours worth of a sweat, do you feel the coolness?
I believe you do, and if you're sweating, you'll actually start feeling a little chilly. That's why I was wondering how these two were feeling right now. Approaching midnight, temperature continuing to dip. Can't be more than 60 degrees now.
We'll have another break point. Can you give us that in Celsius also for our Canadian friends?
Celsius, that's approximately 14 degrees.
Very good. The Trinity education
just
comes in good, huh?
No, it's a tennis education. You didn't learn that in school. Tremendous returner serve. Had a real chance once again for this break. Prepared just a little bit late for that shot, allowing Forget to close in and put away that volley. You know, Forget's confidence got to be growing little by little here.
He almost feels like, I'm sure he's playing with the house money right now.
He's lucky to be out there. Forget trying to hit that winner up the line. It's always the toughest shot over the highest part of the net. Play that shot with more margin for error.
Advantage Agassi.
Good point here by Andre Agassi. Chose not to come in there. Certainly had a chance to attack the net there. Eventually, Guy Forget, once again, that approach shot a little bit short.
Do my eyes deceive me, or does it appear Forget's on that point was hitting with more pace?
More pace than the previous few games.
Game Agassi.
Well, there's a huge point.
Fourth set.
And Agassi Agassi finally gets his break to start the fourth. Stadium court at the U.S. Open after midnight, which has been a custom that's grown here over the last few years. Didn't think we'd make it tonight.
And you have to half expect it if you're going to play a ladies singles match at 7:30. Mary Pierce just squeaking by today. And now Andre Agassi struggling to get to the third round.
Well, he opened the set with a break, and now Agassi has come right back and given Forget 2 break points.
The depth of that forehand saving him there. Andre's got to keep his concentration. Hear him talking to himself there. Had ample opportunities in this match. Still continuing not to do much with that first serve.
Shot.
Ted, you asked me the last game about Guy Forget's pace off the ground. I think the difference is that Andre Agassi is not hitting the ball as hard as he was, playing it a little bit safer. Beautiful forehand there. Tough shot there by Andre Agassi. It's tensed up a little bit. Suddenly Forget appears to be hitting the ball harder. Bad miss there by Guy. Seemed to take his eye off that ball just a little bit at the last second. You never want to do that.
The moment that all these folks have waited for all night. An Agassi moment.
Forget giving him one more chance, and look at this backhand. Forget looked a little bit lackadaisical at the end of this point, but look at Andre bringing the crowd back onto his side. Good move there.
He saved 2 break points and keeps his edge here in the fourth.
Releases some tension from his body, gets the crowd on his side. Very, very smart.
15 left.
Forget attacking there on the second serve. that up with a big first serve up the middle.
14 aces by Forget. And 15 without a move from Agassi. Andre is still up a break in the fourth. Agassi serving up a break in the fourth.
We've heard that song before, haven't we?
40.
Don't see much evidence of this new improved Andre Agassi serve, however. When the going gets tough, he appears to go right back to what he did in the past, which is basically spin his first serve in.
But he worked in that game. He wins the game at love.
It worked it, but it's also a good opportunity when you're up 30 love or 40 love to go for that big first serve. Just work on that aspect of your game.
The one he cranked out in that third set tiebreak was the most impressive one tonight.
And that, I believe, was only about 107 miles per hour. So we're not talking about the big boys. Like a serve of that nature, for example.
Fourth set, and Forget still unleashing 117-mile-an-hour serves.
He's a good volley, as he proved there. There's no reason why he should be afraid to attack the net. He's had some good doubles results as well. Well, volleying is a key aspect of that game. And it helps improve your volley. It certainly helped my game. I remember playing doubles. Certainly advocate that for other players. Get that extra match play.
Well, that was quick. That was 8 points for 2 games. Agassi up a break serving. The way Forget served that last game, John, must make Agassi realize that he cannot lose that break.
He won't break him if he serves like that, that's for sure. Conditions continue to get cooler. That ball feels more and more like a rock. It gets harder, tougher to get it through the air. Agassi's service speed really dipping down now. That's why it's all the more impressive that Forget's still serving so hard.
30-15.
Tough conditions to serve with a lot of speed. Another inside-out forehand winner there from Andre. Forget angry at himself. Good get here to get back into the point. Andre Agassi completely out of position. Just stood right between the service line and the baseline. It's actually lucky that he got away with that. Court position is certainly not one of Andre Agassi's strong suits.
Doesn't seem like he can get away with that like he used to.
Especially against the good players, they're going to really take advantage of it. Just long.
Forget went for the second serve. Agassi holds.
It's better to hit that one short, but at least get it in. Make Agassi hit the winner. They just hand the point over to him.
Forget has had only 6 great points the entire match. He has not had many opportunities to dent Agassi's serve.
That wouldn't be surprising against a big server. More surprising tonight. Although Andre tremendous off the ground.
There's a point we talked of earlier. That's a great second serve.
A lot of pace for a second serve and very well placed. See Forget talking to himself about his racket preparation. Knowing what you're doing wrong and correcting are 2 totally different things. See Forget knock down his 15th ace. Excuse me, 17 aces. Forgot about that last service game.
Yeah, he started to dominate on his serve in this set.
It's a new style of tennis. Serve, stay back. Hit that big forehand and come to net.
You won't teach that at your academy, will you?
I don't believe so. Although there are some players, Ted, that may be better suited to that style of tennis. A guy like Jim Courier, for example. That's just beautiful Andre Agassi passing shot. That short backswing. Almost a half volley from the baseline. Except the difference is it's a full swing. Hits that tremendously well, Andre Agassi, that shot. He going for too much there on the second serve.
He had gone a long time without mixing in a double fault. Forget was plagued by that in the first set. The chance for Agassi. That double fault seemed to give Andre a little opening. And now he has a break point.
A lot of chances in this match. Still 7 service breaks against Guy Forget is an awful lot.
Thank you.
Too good on the passing shot. Andre Agassi will serve for the match. And we return to New York.
Agassi leads 5-2.
Stadium court, Andre Agassi playing quickly, trying to end this match that has gone 1 set longer than it should have. Now at 30 love. Too quickly there.
30-50.
Fifth double.
I will stand on my head if Forget comes back. Anxious camps, wondering what will happen next.
Thank you.
Remember, the difference in this set is 2 breaks. Out.
30-40.
The crowd doesn't like the call, but I think Andre Agassi knew it was a little bit wide. Well left there by Guy Forget, and suddenly, break point.
The question Agassi has to answer right now, John, is can he win this match rather than having Forget lose it?
At this point, I don't think he cares. As long as this match ends, he can worry about that against Wayne Ferreira. Regroup. He certainly handles those passing shots just off the baseline well. It's extremely difficult shots to handle right off the baseline.
Went for that serve.
His biggest serve of the match. Short ball here, allowing Forget to run around his backhand. So those little bunny steps I mentioned, a la Vitas Carolinas, who was with us earlier. He sure is happy to see that. His 5th ace of the match. He'd love to win a couple easy points here. Doesn't appear to be any reason why he should miss that shot other than the pressure. Still unable to put Guy away. Very interesting to see him serve at 5-4.
How many of those have we seen Forget miss tonight?
John, where did I hit this serve?
I'd go out wide, Andre. Hit the bit or the big bomb up the middle. Luxury of being up 2 breaks. You can talk to commentators. There you go.
Advantage Agassi.
All right, John, now how about this one? See, me and you were here.
Up the middle again.
Well, I think we've had the Vitas Connors communication resurrected. First match point.
By the way, Ted, that last serve is his hardest serve of the match.
Jay missed another second serve, and Agassi survived.
6-7, 6-2.
And that clearly is the word tonight.
Well, the tough part is winning, Ted, and he did what he needed to do.
Yes, he did.
He won ugly, a la his coach Brad Gilbert. But the bottom line, he's in the 3rd round of the U.S. Open, and it should be a very interesting encounter against the 12th seed from South Africa, Wayne Ferreira.
Is it a win, John? As you mentioned, that's the bottom line. But is it a win nonetheless that will raise a lot of questions?
I don't think it's going to raise a lot more questions. He has had an up and down year the whole year. So there's going to be questions already coming in. Easy first round match, no test there. Guy Forget's been around a long time. He's got a huge serve. So it was a good win for him nonetheless.
And the Agassi box, they're happy because they finally get to go get warm. Let's go to Michael Barkat.
All right, Ted, I guess you can get a credit John McEnroe with the win tonight, I guess, or the last 2 serves.
That's right. See, me and John have a thing, you know. I just asked him a question. I know what he's thinking. I said, where do I hit it? He told me right up the center, so that's where I put it.
Got to be a good sign for you, though, after the faltering in the 3rd set to come back with a win tonight.
It is, you know. I think more than anything that shows where my mental state of mind is right now. I'm really staying focused. After losing that 3rd, though, I thought, you know, after the match, I'd have to go to the hospital and get a 90-pound bullfrog surgically removed out of my throat. I felt like I'd choked so bad. But Guy played well, and he put some pressure on me. He played the rest of the 3rd set. And even in the 4th, I felt like that was his best tennis, and I just happened to come up with some big shots at the right time.
All right, Andre Agassi, congratulations. He goes on to play Wayne Ferreira in the next round. Ted, back to you.
All right, we're going to take a break and let John work on his suggestions for our post-match dinner. We'll be back to New York in a moment.